All right.
Hello, everyone. I'm Dallas.
And I'm Dave.
And this is
the Wine Comics Pairing Show.
All right.
All right.
Hold on. I'm going to take that again.
Yep. Yeah, I didn't even know we were doing it. Until you started talking, and I'm like, oh, yep, okay.
Right. Keep them on your toes. Sit down, Dave. Cool.
All right, ready? I'm going to start this time? All right. Hello, everybody. This episode was filmed quite some time ago, so I wanted to take a moment to mention that one of the comics that we feature here, Stephen Prince and Fabio Alves' Monster Matador, had a Kickstarter going on at the time. It was about to fund its first trade paperback collection. That has long passed, but it is now about to start a new Kickstarter for the next chapter in the Monster Matador saga. So we will put a link down to sign up to be notified for that when it launches, and we're going to have Stephen on the show in just a couple of weeks after this episode posts to talk all about the new one. So just so you know, when you start hearing about the trade paperback and the previous issues, and then you Google Monster Matador and Stephen Prince and Fabio Alves, and you find all this new information out there, that is all new. And this episode was actually filmed many, many months ago, and it has taken us this long to recover the footage and get it up online. All right, that's been the PSA for this episode. Now let's get to it. Welcome to the Wine and Comics Pairing Show. I'm Dave.
And I'm Dallas.
And that's the intro.
All right. All right, so today we are digging into the vocabulary of the Rioja.
Yes, and this is our second Baroque versus Bargain episode, where we are going to be blind taste testing three expensive versions, which are roughly defined as over $50 or over per bottle. One middle of the road, which is defined $20 to $30, and then two bargain priced Riojas, which are $15 or under.
And if you notice, we are coming to you today on location from the Blending Lab, which is on 3rd Street here, thanks to the lovely Chris and the lovely Jenna. They will be assisting us today. So if you guys are ever in Los Angeles and in the mood for some amazing blends, trust us, amazing blends, drop by the Blending Lab. We cannot recommend it enough.
This is one of my favorite wineries, period. Definitely my favorite winery in LA. Not that they have a shit ton of competition in that regard. LA is not exactly known for its on-location wineries. But this is still just one of my go-to places. The people are wonderful. The wines are wonderful. I brought Dallas here for the first time a couple of months back, and he pulled those classic Dallas faces when he tasted the wine, that sort of like, what is this? This is amazing.
Didn't know I had classic Dallas face.
No, he does. He does. He makes his face and like stares at the glass like it's kind of like he actually looks like it's smacked him in the face a little bit, like it's offended him in some way. But what's offended him is that he's like he didn't expect it to be that good.
Fair.
So this is one of those places that made him pull those faces. And they were gracious enough to host us. But let's start, as usual, let's talk a little bit about Rioja. What is a Rioja? As usual with most wines coming from the old country, Rioja is a region where the grapes are grown and the wine is made. It is a region in Spain. It is named after the Oja River, so it's the Rio Oja, Rioja. To pronounce it properly, you should get a little bit of a Rioja kind of a sound in there. I'm not going to continue doing that.
Glottal H in the back of the throat.
Yes, I'm not going to continue doing that. I've not practiced, and that actually is a little on the difficult side for me, so I'm not going to make an ass of myself through the whole episode, just that one moment.
I will.
No, Rioja. There you go. Rioja. Rioja is, for any Rioja wine from Rioja, it's going to be predominantly Tempranillo is the varietal. A lot of Riojas are 100% Tempranillo, but then there are two other primary grapes that can be blended in with it. There is Garnacha, also known as Grenache, pretty much everywhere else in the world, except for the Spanish-speaking territories, which it is Garnacha to them. And that you're usually going to find maybe 5 to 10% of Garnacha kind of splashed in there with the predominantly Tempranillo wine. And then the other really interesting one is Graciano, and that is native to the Rioja region. And Graciano often will have a heftier blend in there. In fact, we have one of the wines we'll be tasting today is a 50-50 split of Tempranillo and Graciano. It's really interesting to see if we can pick that one out, because none of the others have any Graciano. Oh no, one more has a splash of Graciano. It's a Tempranillo, Garnacha, Graciano blend of all three. But those are your three Rioja grapes that you're going to see, and almost always it will be Tempranillo forward. The only other thing you really have to know about Rioja is that it's divided into three primary territories. It is northwest, northeast, and then the south. Northwest is, if I'm remembering these correctly, it is Rioja Alta, and that is where most of the Tempranillo is going to come from, the high-quality Tempranillo grapes, and a lot of Rioja is going to be, it's a big chunk of the region. Rioja Alavesa is the one in the northeast, and that is also going to be where some of the Tempranillo and the Graciano comes from. And then you have Rioja Baja, which is the southern, much hotter, much more Mediterranean climate, and that's where most of the Garnacha comes from, because that thrives in the hotter climates. The only other thing to know about Rioja, and we have a wide variety of what I'm about to tell you here that we're going to be tasting today, is it comes in 4 distinct, not varieties, but in 4 distinct classes. That's a good word for it. So you have your Generico, or what used to be known as Joven, which means youth. And so there are no aging requirements on the Generico / Joven. A lot of that, and this makes up for maybe about 40% of Rioja wines that come out are in that Generico Joven territory. And so it's like 1 to 2 years you might find, usually the general aging you'll find in there, but it doesn't even have to be that. But then you hit the Crianza, which does have an aging restriction. I believe it's 1 year in barrel and 6 months or a year in bottle before it's released to the public, something like that. Then you have Reserva, which is 2 years in barrel and 1 year in bottle. And then Gran Reserva, and we have 1 Reserva, 1 Gran Reserva, which we'll be tasting today in our expensive category. But then the one more in the expensive category is actually a Generico. So, but it is still a pricier, high-quality version of a Generico. But the Gran Reserva, I think, all told, when you have the aging requirements in barrel and what you have to hold it in bottle before you release it to the public, it's 5 to 6 years before you're even able to buy it. So you know, and generally Reserva, Gran Reserva are going to be your meatier, darker. You've got much more of that oak aging happening with the wine. But then on top of that, they pick the grapes that they think have that longevity to them, where they're going to make a wine that is ageable. So it's going to have really good tannins and acidity, but and a lot of depth, a lot of structure, versus the younger wines, which are going to be much more like drink now, or within a year or a few years.
And curiously enough about the Riojas, many of the families are called bodegas. The wineries are actually referred to as bodegas. A cornerstone of their aging process is the American oak. It's one of the few European classes of wine that actually relies heavily on the American oak barrel.
Yes.
And so it's a distinct flavor, distinct demarcation that you can taste, particularly in the Jovens.
Yes. I was going to say the Jovens and the Crianzas are the ones that use almost 100% American oak is the tradition. Right. But the Reservas and Gran Reservas use more of a mix, more of a blend between French and American. Gran Reserva actually generally uses 100% French oak once you hit that level. Right. American oak usually imparts a lot more flavor and a lot more pronounced flavor. I once got, as a quick sidebar, to taste there was a winery here in California, in Temecula, that did a Cabernet Sauvignon And it was the exact same vintage from the exact same vineyard. So the exact same wine, one was aged in 100% American oak, one was aged in 100% French oak, and you could buy either bottle. And I got one of each, tasted them side by side. The difference is astounding. It's pronounced. I mean, the American oak tastes nothing like the French oak and vice versa. So that was a great case in point of how important what you age the wine in just change. Like everything else can be exactly the same. The winemaker, the winery, the vineyard, the vintage. And the only difference is what you're aging it in, and it's night and day.
The last time I was in Paris, we went to a little tapas restaurant, tapas meeting, this Spanish style of dining or
small plates,
yeah, small taste, small bites. But they did a Spanish region tasting flight, wine flight, and the entire thing was made up of Riojas.
Yeah.
I think they had one from a different region.
But Rioja is definitely the most famous, and it's the
workhorse for sure.
It is, and Rioja's in the States at least. If you're in the States, it is North America. I don't know why, but we have really easy access to Riojas. They're very prevalent. They're very affordable. Surprisingly, it's rare to find. Like it's easy to find the bargain ones. So we'll when we get to our taste test and we see where those bargain wines fall. Just know that a lot of Temperanilas / Riojas here in the States are $20 and under at most. I mean, they're very bargain priced, and then you really have to go out of your way to find those expensive $50. The ones we have today are well-aged vintages, like we have a 2007, a 2009. Like they've got some years on them, which is part of what makes them expensive. But then on top of that, they're also Reservas, Grand Reservas. They're the Riojas that were meant to be aged, and so they're the best, the cream of the crop that were meant to have a long shelf life.
And they stand alone. A lot of times you'll find the Riojas do very well with food, particularly fatty food, rich foods. The Hovens, they really stand up nicely to like fatty lamb and fatty beef and really rich food. So we're excited to taste the full gamut here, the full spectrum, and let's get to it. Yeah,
let's do it.
All
right. So first, we're going to talk about which comics we thought would go really well with a Rioja style of wine. Even though there's not a single Rioja style, there is generally Rioja has a lot of traditional methods to its style, to its making. So there's a lot that you can expect from a Rioja, regardless of whether it's a Generico, a Gran Reserva, or what have you. So for me, I picked a comic called Monster Matador.
Oh, God.
All right. And this is a comic, so it's come out. There is a 3-issue first story arc called Tango of the Matadors. And then the sequel just recently hit, Monster Matador Afropocalypse. Now, it does star a Matador. But at the same time, the comic takes place in Mexico, Argentina, and then the sequel is South Africa. So technically, none of it takes place in Spain. So there isn't that super easy connection to Spain or the Riojas, but it stars a Matador. Matadors are, they come from a long line of Spanish tradition. And yet at the same time, this is a very modern take on it. And that's something that we're probably going to find similarities with the wines we taste today, is they're all going to be fairly modern versions of Rioja, which stick to a lot of traditional methods, but also use a lot of modern methods. They're definitely hybrid styles due to, one, climate change, of course. Like, things change over time and you have to adapt. But then there are certain modern methods that have helped improve Rioja over time, even though many winemakers still try and stick and adhere to the traditions as much as possible. So this comic, it is a Matador who fights essentially kaiju. So giant monsters, like your Godzillas, your King Kongs, that kind of a thing. This is in a post-apocalyptic world where all these monsters have spawned. No one knows why. No one knows what exactly changed. But the world is basically on defense, and everyone lives in little enclaves, trying to hide from the monsters, not be killed by them. But the Matadors are monster hunters and monster fighters. And they actually, the writer and the creator of this series, Stephen Prince, he created this comic a little while ago. So he did 15 black and white issues, I believe about 15, that were all him. He drew it, he wrote it, he did everything. But both his art style and his approach to this was at first almost humorous, borderline comedic, a little Three Stooges-y. It was, and that just wasn't really. He didn't even think it ever really gelled. It ever really clicked. Then he met the artist that you'll see on these covers here, Fabio Alves, or Alves. I'm not sure how you pronounce his last name. And you can see it's much more. There's a lot more gritty realism to the artwork. And this cover artist is the interior artwork as well. You can see on this one that I have open on Afropocalypse on the inside. You can kind of get a really good sense of the kinds of. I mean, it's just his art is absolutely beautiful. It is lush. It is detailed. While at the same time, just crisp and clear. So when Steven met Fabio, he sort of rejiggered what Monster Matador was in his mind, and he realized he could make this a very serious, very dramatic creature horror thriller, and it works beautifully. The first series, and one thing I'll also point out, so I originally got the first series all in digital, because I just don't have space anymore for all the physical comics, so I try and stick to a lot of the stuff, and this was all crowdfunded. So when I get new things, I stuck to digital until the little asshole. He, for the third issue, offered a foil cover. Really? And I am a sucker for foil covers.
When was this?
Last year, I want to say. Maybe Afropocalypse was last year, but within the last year or two. So it's like foil on the back, foil on the back, foil on the front, and I was like, shit. And I went in for the physical foil cover, and because I was getting the foil cover, I'm like, well, if I'm paying for shipping, I might as well get the rest of the series sent to me as well. And he even included a little note to me on the back here when he shipped all this to me. So I think we had Kickstarter messaged a few times, and I was like, oh yeah, I just don't do physical anymore. And he basically wrote a little note to me with this, and he says, Dave, I finally got you with the foil cover. Thanks for your support on all the campaigns. I was like, yeah, you did, you bastard. So I've been getting them physically ever since. I got it physical for the Afropocalypse, and as of right now, he has a Kickstarter for the hardcover collection of everything I have in front of me here. It's all volume 1 plus one news story that will be included in the hardcover. By the time this episode airs, it might not still be going on, but we will include a link because often you can still, even though the campaign is over, you can still, either through Backer Kit or through an Indiegogo setup or something like that, you can still make an order for the hardcover if you're interested, because the hardcover, I think, is the way to go now that these individual issues have all been funded and have come out. Definitely go for the big collection when that comes. But yeah, this is the first series is he's fighting more classic, traditional giant monsters, and there's even some internal strife between Matadors, which is a lot of fun. There's a whole duel between Matadors that goes on in that series. That one, I think, it fires on all cylinders. It's amazing. He goes a little off the beaten path for the sequel. In Afropocalypse, he goes to zombies, of all things. So he's a monster matador, not just in the kaiju sense. It's apparently they're going to go through like anything that's a monster, really. Kind of might fit into this world. So it's viral based, and it seems to come from the virus. I don't want to give away the plot, but it's sort of a mystery of like where is the virus coming from, and that does lead a little bit to kind of sort of a giant monster of its own. So it doesn't it kind of circles back into that. And this is a story that's a lot of fun because he even cast 3 other comic writers in prominent roles, all of which, of course, meet grisly ends, because that's the way you do it.
Well, sure.
But anyway, this was mine. I think this will go amazing with the Rioja. You've got that right blend of just sort of modern updates on very traditional. You've got the kaiju, you've got the matadors, you've got in Afropocalypse, it's very much almost like an original Predator movie kind of setup.
Okay.
And in the Monster Matadors for that, it's your classic post-apocalyptic setting, but again with all those very unique bells and whistles on it. And it's very Fabio Alves, however you pronounce your last name, Fabio. I'm so sorry. It has.
Please write in and tell us.
Please write in and tell us. But it has his art is
gorgeous. It's dense. It's intricate. It's layered. And the story also, there's a lot of world building that's very intricate and layered, and yet the reading of this is it's very straightforward, it's very classic, it's just a lot of fun, as long as you like things a little grisly and a little horrific. Aside from that, it is absolutely straightforward, rollicking comics, blast and a half.
Yeah.
All right.
Take
it away.
I'm going to keep mine very short and sweet, mostly because I forgot the comic. And we're going to do a little cutaway later, and also I tend to be a little verbose with the previous episodes about comics. So for me, it is Fritz the Cat. I know.
Oh my God!
I know it's a little out of the box.
Was that a comic before it became a movie?
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Fritz the Cat.
It was a strip.
It was a strip.
It was a strip.
It was Crumb strip.
It was Crumb.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Featured in started in '69. The character is so inappropriate, but so refreshing. He runs the gamut from these really sort of accessible and almost G-rated tales and stories to, man. If you've ever seen any of the Fritz the Cat films, you know what I'm talking about. It's not for your mom. It's not for the faint of heart. It's not for the PC generation.
I believe they're rated X.
They are rated X, and they probably still are. But I chose Fritz the Cat, particularly the Life and Times of Fritz the Cat, which was reissued by Fantagraphics in 2017.
I want to visit Rioja now and tell all the wine producers. I want to bring a copy of Fritz the Cat and be like, we think this is what your wine is.
Absolutely. Well, now I'll tell you why. Specifically because we were doing this full gradient, full spectrum of the Riojas, right? We've got that, not lower rung, but the Hovens, which are really accessible, aged up to 1 year, to all the way up to the really sort of well-aged stuff and mature stuff. And Fritz actually fits that bill perfectly because when he first appeared, it was really accessible. It was really sort of G-rated, but by the time
borderline wholesome.
But by the time he really sort of came into his own, it was wonderfully inappropriate and an acquired taste, very mature, lots of depth. I love it. I adore it, and so I'm not basing this solely on one class of the Rioja. I'm basing my choice on this full spectrum gradient that we are digging into today. So for me, it's Fritz the Cat. Particularly, again, I will say it's the Life and Death, or Life and Times, I forget, I'm misquoting, of Fritz the Cat, which was issued by Fantagraphics in 2017. Right. Also, if you're familiar with Toshin did a fantastic compendium, an omnibus of his art over the past, for the 50 years he was viable. And again, if you don't know Crumb is a fascinating character. There's a great documentary out there, no plugging, but totally plugging it. Tortured guy.
There's a documentary and a fiction film, I believe they did.
Yeah,
as well.
Actually, right. Yeah. Based loosely on a biography of Crumb. Fascinating character, tortured from day one.
And still around, still kicking, still making comics.
Still, we think
he is. I'm pretty sure. Oh, he's gonna look it up. He's gonna call me out.
No, he's right. But he did go off the deep end a few years ago. So Fritz the Cat is my choice to pair with the full spectrum of wines we're doing today. I'm going to recommend the hell out of Fritz the Cat. And I'm probably going to recommend the hell out of a number of these Riojas once we get to tasting them, which we are about to do.
But much like the Riojas, don't show your kids.
Don't show your kids. Or if you do,
don't share with your kids, I should say. Don't let them drink the Riojas and don't let them read Fritz.
Or show them the bottle, show them the book, and tell them when they turn 18 they can dig into.
Right. They can have a sip.
They can have a sip, a taste. The early early Fritz.
The early, which are usually lower alcohol.
That's very true.
So, yeah, there you go.
So, now we're going to get started. Those are our two choices. We've got Monster Matador, Apocalypse
by Stephen Prince and Fabio Alves.
That guy?
Or Alves.
And wait, where is this? Oh, probably Alves.
Look inside, I think, is where you're going to see his. There you go.
Yeah.
Right there.
Oh yeah. Alves.
Alves.
And Fritz the Cat from Mr. Crumb.
All right.
Those are our choices.
And now we're going to taste our 6 Riojas. They are coming in, we don't know which is which. We're going to be tasting them blind, and then we're going to be ranking them, and then we will reveal which is which.
Right.
Don't forget 3 expensive, 1 middle of the road, 2 bargain price, $15 or under. Let's see what we think.
And we're going to be relying on the expertise and guidance of our dear and fair maiden,
Jenna.
I keep saying Jenny.
Yeah. Let's try that one more time. Oh,
No, we're not.
Jenna, come on down.
Say hi to the people if you want.
Hello, people.
Okay, yeah, you can wave on that one for sure. Definitely that one. That's our main one. That's our little light.
If my lips are purple already, I've been doing quality
control. Yeah.
Quality control.
Yes.
That's okay. As long as she doesn't trip and fall and break the glasses before they get to us, we're all good. There you go. All right, number one. Here we go.
Let's see what you guys think.
Ooh. All right. I mean, this looks and smells like it's got some depth to it, but
It does.
I've been
fooled before.
I've been fooled by bargain Riojas before. Now, I will say before I even taste this, most of my experience with Riojas until today have been on the bargain side. Okay. So I am used to the $15 and under. That is what I'm.
He's making a face.
Oh, am I?
You're making a face.
I didn't know it made faces.
All right. You know, that's got some heavy tannic structure still to it.
Very heavy tannic.
Yeah, that is drying my mouth out quite a bit.
But
the flavor's very nice.
What are you guys getting?
I am getting, so there's definitely
subtle red fruit, very subtle red fruit.
Cherry for sure. I would go.
Cherry,
I think cherry is like the dominant note on this one. I would say. It's got a little bit of a raspberry after. I think in the aftertaste it tartans up a little bit and goes more towards raspberry. But
I think
initially it's very mellow. Outside of the tannins, but the flavor wise, very mellow.
This feels very young. Very.
Until I taste some more, I'm not gonna comment on that one. But there's something about the color that makes me think this is not young. This looks like it's got some oak aging on it. And I think I'm tasting some of that oak. But I don't until I have something to compare it to, because it's been a while since I've had a Rioja. And again, most of my Riojas are the super cheap grocery store, Trader Joe's type thing. And those tend to be a little and this could be Riojas across the board. This is what I'm going to find out today. Because I've never really had an expensive Rioja before, at least not in recent memory. They tend to be very. You have a decent little bit of acidity. The tannins are usually there, but then the flavor. Sometimes they can be mellow to the point of nondescript. They can be mellow to the point of being uninteresting.
Table wine.
Very very table wine. Which that's not the easiest thing to make in wine. Like to make something that's smooth and mellow, or smooth enough and mellow enough. But then nothing stands out. You're just like, no, okay, that tastes like a Rioja. It tastes like a Spanish Tempranillo, and that's all I got.
It's sort of a melange. It's just sort of nondescript.
Hold that last sip. We're gonna keep that on the side. But I need some context. So
that's a good baseline because there's nothing that sticks out.
Yeah,
it's a very good baseline.
Yes.
Something really stuck out to me on that one, but I'll tell you guys.
Yeah. Like I said, I feel like maybe because we'll go back and reset these one and. I think then, once I have some context to the others, something might be a little different. No, because see, now that smells young. Because that smells like fruit. Whereas this one,
Oh, man.
This is more floral on the nose. This one's more fresher, younger fruit, or steamingly so. Let's see.
It has greater depth to flavor in the second one, for sure, compared to the first. I'm getting, there's a deeper cherry, maybe not a mulberry, maybe a mulberry.
It's interesting though, everything's brighter in this one though.
Number 2?
Yeah, number 2. Number 1, and the flavors are easier to pick out in number 2. But everything's a bit brighter, whereas this one feels darker and richer in certain ways.
2 definitely feels darker and richer for me.
Oh my goodness, no. Oh, see, finally, our first blind tasting, we were across the board.
Across the board.
Similar. This one, we might actually diverge.
2 for sure. Deeper.
Well,
More complex to me. Maybe it's just age. Maybe there's very similar and it's just age.
mm-hmm.
In number 2.
Okay. I feel like this will be the most telling. This is where we're actually going to get some berry, like, we'll know where 1 and 2 falls after.
Number 3.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Oh.
Yeah?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, but
Now that smells aged.
that smells like something I want to drink.
This smells like it's got years on it. And smells like it was made with something that had the backbone to age. Whereas both of these, honestly, are both of them, I think 2 feels the youngest to me. But even 1, it's still got more youth than this one, I think.
Yeah, this is definitely,
I haven't tasted it yet.
at least on the nose, it's
Okay.
definitely
Right? Let's take a sip.
better age.
Mellow. But also, compared to the tannins in number 1, this is a finer tannins.
Much finer.
In this one.
The tartness is definitely decreased in this one.
Yeah. So this is mellow. Not quite to the point of being uninteresting, but it's mellow in that way where the nose is wonderful on this. I mean, the nose is like...
It's buttery. I get butter.
Buttery, that's a good word for it. It's buttery. It's buttery. It's got like almost... I would do like... There's definitely some floral, like petal element. Whether it's rose petals, I would almost go a little vanilla flower on that as well. Not vanilla itself, but like the way vanilla flowers smell. So it's, or like maybe a, gosh.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, it is nice. And then one more little sip.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
For sure.
All right. Number four.
Number 4.
Thank
That's
you.
fascinating. Okay.
Enjoy.
This one smells more like 2.
It's nondescript.
It's different, but similar. 1 and 3 are more similar on the nose to me, and then 2 and 4 are more similar on the nose here. All right, take a sip.
Yeah.
That's got some nice, just gentle fruit characteristics to it.
Subtle, very subtle.
Yeah, a little plummy. Still that cherry. Tempranillo tends to have distinct cherry notes to them, especially when it's coming from the Rioja region.
Very true.
So all of them have this cherry element to them, to some degree or another.
And then it's sort of peppered with some other, like,
Right.
weird, I don't want to say it's mulberry, there's a...
There's a little bit of plumminess to some of
Definitely
this
plum.
one. I would go with, there is pepper. I would almost go with more like white pepper than black pepper on a lot of these. Again, just things are a little, the flavors are brighter than you'd expect, especially looking at them. They are dark. They're relatively dark red in color. They're certainly not in the black inky territory, but these are deep garnet in color.
Right.
They're gorgeous ruby to garnet colored.
Another sip.
Yeah. But this one,
Interesting.
it doesn't taste nearly as bright as it smells. It does have a subtler, darker, richer taste.
For sure.
Whereas the nose, you're almost expecting like this would be that super fruity porch sipper of like a Hoven, like a Generico. But then it tastes a little different. This might be somewhere kind of in the middle.
Tannins are definitely slightly finer
than 2 or 1, honestly, yeah.
Yeah.
But I still pair flavor-wise.
That's close to 2.
2 and 4 and 3 and 1 are kind of paired together in my head, right?
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. We shall see. All right, number 5.
Number 5. You guys confused
Beautiful.
yet?
Oh, completely. Ooh. Okay, that is pepper on the nose. That is fucking pepper on the nose.
That is spicy.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I'm excited about this one.
Sorry, this is gonna be a treat. I just get the feeling. this is gonna give me Scooby powers.
I may be the guy who makes random faces, but this is the guy who says random nonsense under his breath.
I do. Sorry. This I think is gonna be a Scooby snack. Here we go.
All right, let's go in.
Mm.
Oh yeah, plum, top level plum. Yeah.
The tannins are more pronounced in this. They are not that mellow.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Swirl it. Really?
Oh, yeah,
really swirl
I
it.
do.
Okay. Really get it into your gums.
Interesting.
And,
You think this is
this is closer to
harsher
1
tannin.
on the tannins. It's harsher, but you don't mind it because it works with the flavors really, really beautifully well. This is a spicier.
See, I think that's a finer tannin for sure.
You think it's a finer tannin?
Yes.
But all right, right now I'm putting this in front. I think this is similar to 3 and 1, but I might like it better than either 3 or 1. But I need to revisit, so I'm going to put that there right now.
Yeah, I'm gonna do the same. I'm torn between, in terms of the tannin, in terms of taste.
Yeah,
I much prefer this to the first 3.
yeah.
All right.
I do too. It's in front
Yeah.
of 3 and 1, but I'll revisit. All right.
All right.
Grand finale, number
Last
6.
but not least.
All right.
And then we will see what we think about this.
Color. Oh, look at that color.
Oh, this
Look
is
at
more
that.
purpley. This
Yeah.
is close to purple. It's not quite, but
Much
that
deeper.
that
than
is
the others.
ooh, and that is jammy.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. This smells almost New Worldy.
Usually it means if we really like it, it's the cheap.
Yeah.
According to
We'll see.
the past
This
episode.
smells deep and dark though.
It does.
I think this is the kind of wine they would pick for like a Reserva or Grand Reserva.
Okay.
Holy shit, that's aged. No question. That's got serious oak on it. That has mellowed to the point to where the tannins are non-existent. Yeah. No, this is smooth in the way, not quite to the same extent, but when we did the special unbottling of the 1990 wine, this has this is giving me a flashbacks to that, where it's like it's got that, like it aged well and distinctly and yeah, this is unquestionably, I think, either the Reserva or Grand Reserva are 2007, 2009. Yeah. That is, I'm gonna go there.
One more sip. So you think this is
one of the tops?
All right.
I think that's one of the tops. I think this might be my top.
really?
But we'll see. It is I mean, don't get me wrong. This says so. Riojas do tend to be, I know from me, as I mentioned before, they can be mellow to the point of there are complexities underneath the mellowness, but you have to dig to the point where I'm just like, I'm just not getting enough out of these wines. They blend them and make them, and this is something we forgot to mention about Riojas. Predominantly, you're going to get just blends of grapes from all over. The producers mix and match from even the 3 distinct territories of Rioja to make the best wine possible. That is the traditional method. Recently, very recently, they have started labeling Riojas with a single vineyard designation. But this is something so recent that literally none of our Riojas today have that distinction on them, even though 2 of them are from single vineyards. And one of them is that Grand Reserva. It is a single vineyard Rioja, which is a rarity, especially back then. It's not something they do very often. And the interesting thing is, don't forget one of these. Most of these are Tempranillo dominant. One of them, I believe, has most of them are 100% Tempranillo.
Yeah.
One is 5% Garnacha. One of them is an unknown blend between the 3, Tempranillo, Garnacha and Graciano, but dollars to donuts, Tempranillo is the predominant one there. And then one of them is 50-50 Tempranillo and Graciano. Can we distinguish which one that is?
No.
I want to see if we can. Like, which one just sticks out in ways that isn't just about age, but in ways that are like, wow, which one of these is not like the other? That's the question, right? Like any of the others.
Butter. It's most butter.
Yeah,
That's the most acute note.
I think. What's that? You know what? I will say one thing I don't love about Riojas, and it is across the board with all 6 of these Riojas. It has a metallic after smell.
It does.
It like super like copper, like pennies. It's all on the nose though, not on the flavor.
Okay. I think you were middle of the road.
Shit. This is hard, guys. This is much harder than the Barolos, let me tell you. The Barolos laid themselves out.
Oh, yeah.
These and I didn't have that much experience with Barolos at the time either.
It's curious that with the Barolos, at least, the components were, at least with the aging, so much more acute. All of this just sort of feels like...
Almost. There was a few. I do think...
with Barolos, at least, you had 2 that skewed
Right.
the results for sure, because their taste, their mouthfeel, their nose, and everything was just so different from everything else. And those were the 2 that were the most expensive at the time.
Now, for me, the only 2 I'm going to say I'm sure of. The only 2 I'm sure of are 6 and 4 for being the more aged.
Do you think that 6 and 4
are the most
are
aged?
the most aged?
Now there's, because we have a 7, a 9, a 14, a 17, and then 2 bargains, which are likely young.
Right.
You're not going to get old bargain Riojas.
Question on number 2.
Mm-hmm.
Are you getting a distinct singed oak?
Toasted oak is what you're asking.
I'm getting singed, not toasted. It's singed.
Like cinnamon, maybe?
No.
No?
No. This is burnt.
Ooh, you know what? There's a tasting note for Riojas that is a curious tasting note that people use, and I've never heard it used for a wine before, but I've seen wine reviewers use it for Rioja, which is cold bonfire.
Yes, precisely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I was like, I kind of get it, but I'm like, cold bonfire?
Yeah,
I feel like you're reaching. Yeah. But it sounds better than singed, right?
Yeah,
So they're like, cold bonfire.
Exactly.
That glorious aroma and taste of the
Cold
cold bonfire.
See, that's the most distinct note I picked up on all of these. And it's
Really?
only a number 2.
Only in the
Which makes me think it is either something, a note that's indicative of the Hovens, because generally you find that.
I will say, when we reveal what all of these are, though, I will check which one they specifically said was cold bonfire, because there's only one that it was used on of these 6.
Oh, really?
And I've got it on my computer right off screen here, and I will double check and see if this is cold bonfire.
I'm picking it up on number 2 only.
Okay.
It's the only one I'm picking up on. So that makes me think it is either the least aged or the most aged.
And we don't, and we actually haven't even seen. So Jenna was kind enough to pick out our bargain Tempranillos. So
Thank
our
you, Jenna.
Riojas. Yes. And so we don't even know what they.
Also, by the way, she hears us going through this, and she's probably laughing to herself.
Right.
All the things we're getting.
Dying. She's dying. Now I do think one of the bargain Riojas she picked out. I think because I only saw the back of the bottle.
Yeah,
the yellow label.
it's one I've actually had before.
I think
too.
it's Alito, right?
Yeah, you got an Alito, right? Oh, they got
no. So not
No,
Alita.
that's the one I'm familiar with. That's
Okay. I thought it was Alita. Anyways, we'll get there in a bit.
So-
We still have to rank these bad boys.
All right.
No. Really? Number fucking 3? Okay.
Hold on. Okay.
Can I pop in with you?
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Is this the final?
Are you done?
Yeah.
It's my final. So, do you want to
Grab the bottle.
grab the bottles?
I do.
Well,
Okay.
But
but.
I have I want to ask a question.
Oh, please.
So
Uh-oh.
I just want to
We have an
verify-
expert here.
I want to verify that this is your top choice, number 3.
Yes.
What would you be willing to pay? You're out to dinner. What would you be willing to pay for that bottle? And I'm going to ask you the same question, Dave.
For number 3?
No, for
Or
your
for my top? For my top?
And this isn't to sway or change it. I just
Nope.
want to know your
Nope.
favorite. What would you be
So
comfortable paying?
here's my slight tweak to that question.
Sure.
Number 6 tastes so beautifully aged and mellow. You don't have this with food. It's not going to complement food well.
Okay, you're not out to dinner then.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
Right. You're at the wine bar.
Right.
Just
And you want a fantastic Rioja.
Okay, there you go. So I would pay 75
for number
6.
75.
And that's your favorite.
That's my favorite.
6 is your favorite.
If it's over 75, I'd be like, I know it's the restaurant upcharge, kind of thing, or the wine bar upcharge, but I'm like, I don't know if I wouldn't want to pay more than that, but I might be accepting of it because you have to calculate in your head when you're looking at prices at a restaurant or a wine bar, things like that, because they have to do an upcharge. So you're like,
I mean, not we.
right. If you're paying $60 for a bottle, you're like, that's a $40 bottle at most, kind of a thing. So you're like, if not a $30 bottle.
I'd pay. I just switched my order, by the way. This is the problem. So I'm going back and forth between these two. I'll give you the reason. I would not switch them next to one another. But I think 3 is so well balanced that it is either really accessible, everyday kind of Rioja, or
you put 5 at the top.
5
is in my bottom 3.
I'll tell you why. Because the first note on that for me is that butter, which makes me think of sort of it's nonsense, but umami. It's just it's also on the nose. Nothing really sticks out except that smooth kind of creamy buttery thing.
Mm-hmm.
I pay.
You can be at dinner or not at dinner.
Yeah, this guy, he makes a difference.
I know, whichever you prefer.
Yeah, I'm gonna say this is my top. And I pay 65, 70 bucks.
Okay.
Pleasant.
Okay.
And we're completely wrong there.
Hold on.
see.
I might.
Oh, are we making a last minute?
Oh, we are.
Last
This
minute
is never.
adjustment?
Trust me, when we're done, it's going to
This
completely.
is not based on my facial expression.
No,
Okay.
no.
My top is still my top. I haven't changed it that drastically, but I moved 3 and 5 around. I think 5 might be in my top 3 now, and 3 goes down as part of my 2, 1, 3. So it's only
3,
4 and 5. Yeah. So our
Those
bottom
are
3
very
are the same
close.
now. Our bottom 3 are the same now.
Oh yeah.
And it's only the top 3 that we are not remotely on the same
Can't
page.
continue, Jason.
Yeah.
We
This
gotta
is
lock
it.
it
This
in.
is
We're gonna lock it in.
We're locked in. Boom, boom, boom. Let's
Okay.
reveal number 2. Figure out what you like.
2,
Oh, not bad.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
2017.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. This was our middle of the road.
This was the middle of the road.
This is our $20 to $30 bottle. So it's neither of the bargain ones, which is interesting. But it's a 2017, so it doesn't have a lot of age on it. And it is a Generico, I believe. It has the Generico Hoven label on it. Or Rio Pot.
You guys tell me which one you want.
All right, number 1
one.
next. Yeah.
I'm about to wrap your socks off.
God.
This is your number one, your Grand Reserve.
Jesus Christ!
Yeah, I knew it.
All right, this is the Grand. This was the. Well, actually, it wasn't the most expensive, but it is the Gran Reserva, so it was supposed to be one of the best of the best. Maybe
You know what?
No, you can't change it now.
No. Now what I'm thinking is, because we had this issue the last time with one or two of the wines, and I think these guys might need to breathe a bit.
I did let him
You
breathe.
did, but even more.
Right. There was like literally next day.
Yeah.
Like things changed a little bit.
Maybe that's part of it.
But I will say, I think the age on this one might have been. Oh, and this is our 50% Graciano.
Yeah.
This is our 50-50 Tempranillo and Graciano. So this
Wow.
had But you know what? The
You're
flavor
tricky.
is nondescript. This is the one.
For me, no.
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 It's mellow to the point of like I kind of taste nothing.
Yeah.
And obviously all of our palates are different,
Right.
right? That's why wine is fun.
Yes.
So for me, major cigar ash on that.
Hold on.
Okay.
Cigar ash.
And like
Oh, you need 4 more.
like cherries, but like
Yes.
soaked in like liqueur.
Right. Fermented.
Yes.
But not sharp. But not usually the liqueur.
Not a super tart.
But also the
cherry.
liqueur part. Like this thing is This thing is so.
That's cigar. That's
That's the
little
ash.
earthy,
It's
ashy.
it's not as acute as it
Singed
is
to
in
this
number
one.
2.
This
but
one,
you're right.
This one,
it's
like,
cigar.
Right.
That's right.
I'm gonna sneeze.
to me.
One
Bless you.
more. Hold on.
Yeah.
There we go. This literally has a toasted marshmallow, number 2. Like s'mores sage. Whereas this one, that's why I get the candy part of it too.
You're right.
I'm not trying to be right.
No,
that is
you're right. No, you're right. Because as I said, I ranked it second because that ashy
So we were very
thing
hopeful
is less acute than it was in number 2.
Yeah.
Because again, in number 2 it just feels like fucking
Yeah.
happy.
Now, I will say, Jenna, we are very hopeful that Jenna's going to be a regular on doing this for us.
Will be.
She will be. She has every intention of it as well. We'll see. Life is life. Like, she could move to
That's right.
Oklahoma next month. We don't know. I mean, you don't know. We'll see what happens. But if she stays here and this works out,
Plan to see her more often.
Plan to see her more often. She knows what she's talking about. She actually does work here at the blending lab as well. So she is.
You can come see me most
She is-
Saturdays.
Right, she is more authentic than we are.
Oh,
so.
without question.
Well,
We're
I
just
appreciate
fans.
it.
We're just winos who enjoy comics and wine now.
But
and
I
trying to get
appreciate
better
you
at it.
guys having me.
Yeah.
All right, number 3.
All right, number 3.
Number 3.
Holy smokes. Okay.
This, my friends, would be a Jenna
One
bargain
of the
pick.
bargains. Vina Aguia.
That makes no sense.
It does to me, actually.
Let's see.
We haven't gotten a single bargain yet, so I'm glad. I'm glad one of them is still in the bottom 3, and we didn't stick them both in the top.
What was the price tag
You
for that guy?
almost stuck one in the top.
Yeah.
$8.99.
$8.99. Okay, and but this is interesting. It is a Reserva,
Again, very drinkable.
It's very
It
drinkable.
is extremely drinkable. I mean,
but
yeah.
Dallas, it's a Reserva
For
Yeah.
$8.99?
for $8.99. So for whatever reason, the States, at least right here, like we're buying. Where did you buy this? Bevmo. So it's $8.99 at Bevmo here in the States. This is, I mean, just because it's a Reserva or a Gran Reserva doesn't necessarily mean you can't
Very
get
true.
it for a
Totally.
steal.
And it's a full 10.
That's a full 10.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Good choice.
What would you like next?
And that makes why it's so smooth and why it's so mellow on the palate makes sense because it's a Reserva. It's got that extra age on it. So the next one, bring out 5, 4, and 6. We need them all at the same time because we did not agree on these. So we need to see them all at once. And you need to tell us and bring them out in 4, 5, then 6. Do it in numerical order. We might as well. Yeah.
It's these two
The most
cute
expensive
notes in the bottom.
At the very
two
least, the
few
most
things.
expensive bottle has not been here yet, so it's in the top 3. Thank God.
Number 4.
Oh, the other bargain.
That
so
makes
there's
so
like
much
another-
sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
And how much was this one?
$8.99.
$8.99, and that one is actually a Generico, so
Yeah.
that is a Hoven.
And this is solid. I'm
Yeah.
having
Not
a
mad at it?
No.
But it's funny that that's the one that even beat the Reserva bargain, right?
And you know why? It's because these two had really acute notes, that ashen thing, that burnt thing, the tannins were really heavy. This is sort of like, I guess it's mid-level tannin. You don't even notice it.
It's a better version of young.
And
wine.
it's like really balanced. It doesn't feel too deep or rich or too young. Middle of the road for me.
Man,
Where'd you rank that? So you had that at number.
You had that as your
Number
second.
Next to top. Next to
Yep. Second to top.
Okay.
All right, and then number 5.
Oh, that's the most expensive. This is $125 a bottle.
2009 Reserva.
Yes.
Manzanos.
125th anniversary release, because that's how old the fucking winery is.
Beautiful.
They started in
Bodega
18 something.
Manzanos. Very nice. And that was.
And that's a Reserva. And that was my, I ranked that at number 4. Because number 4, I made the other bargain one a second to top.
Wait, no.
Yes.
Yes?
Oh, yeah. Oh, you had the bargain. You had the Reserva as number
5.
Number 5.
But the bargain Reserva, this is a Reserva expensive, and I ranked it below the bar. So, just so you guys know, and this is a 2009, yeah? Did I get that right? Or is it 7? 9. So 2009 Reserva that is 3 digits in price, and I ranked it below an $8.99 2016 Reserva.
Right.
Isn't that wild? Just so you know, like sometimes you have to pay the money to experience it, so you know, but it's not guaranteed you're going to get something you like better ever. That's wine for you, though. And last but not least, number 6
was your 2014.
Amazing. And this is a Generico Hoven.
Yeah.
But it's from 2014, so it's got a little extra age on it
Age
anyway.
on it.
Right. I mean, just because something is a Hoven when it was released doesn't mean it still is. This is a 2014. So it's got a little, but this is, my God, we both put this almost at the top. And it's really damn good.
This guy.
That guy. I like the cigar,
Yeah.
ashy,
Okay.
earthiness to it.
Yeah, and that's the one that had the cold bonfire.
I
no,
like that.
the
But I
number-
always
number
like
one.
that.
Number 1. Right. Okay.
But that is generally something that my palate enjoys.
Okay.
So that does not surprise me.
I'm so curious. I think it's the aeration. It's allowing them to sit.
And the older the wine, I mean, that is the oldest one we have. So the aerate, like
That makes
more
sense.
time to decant.
We have to remember that going forward because we've kind of been.
Yeah,
We've had that hiccup.
I should probably
wines
pour
in the
these
past.
in glasses. If
Yeah.
today we were on location, we were a little pressed for time.
Yeah.
But normally we would put these all in glasses, like a half a day before we actually begin, and I just let it sit there for hours. But you know what? Now that we've done this, we have one more special wine we're going to taste, and all 3 of us are going to taste it. We have a 2001 Rioja. It's also Bodegas Manzanos, who did the 125th anniversary one that was number 5? Yeah, 5. 5.
Take note here, guys.
No, yeah.
Consolidate your wine.
You're gonna blend the blends.
That's right.
Good job.
Be your own blend master.
Huh. But yeah, this one is not particularly oak aged. You can tell it
Very
is.
fruity.
Yeah. Even though it's a 2001.
2001.
That's fascinating.
What's the? What is
Ooh, that's smooth though. That's nice.
Is this a full 10?
No, this is here. Let me check. I think it is. Well, let me double check.
What do you think?
Tastes like a strawberry.
It does. It's very fruity.
It's like a, doesn't
Strong.
it? Super strong strawberry.
Well, I was wrong. This is the unknown blend between all 3 varieties. So it's Tempranillo,
Oh, okay.
Grenache, and Graciano.
That's that dominant strawberry.
Mhm.
Right?
Almost confectionate, like.
Right.
But
Like, you know, like those gummy strawberry
Exactly.
candies?
Mhm. Yeah.
Probably next door at the
Yeah.
little gummy
Well, that's the thing.
place.
There's nothing sharp anymore, if there ever was, about it.
Right.
Like, there's nothing tart. It's just
This is dessert wine?
no,
Could be almost, right?
Oh man.
because
This is
I think if there ever I think if there was anything sharp about it or tannic or anything, now that it's got 20 plus years of age,
That's totally rounded out.
Yeah.
This feels,
All that's left is that sweet
That-
fruit.
that's the
Yeah.
key. That's the,
That it is, and there's nothing literally sugary sweet about it, but it's
but
so
on the nose, it treats your brain.
It's so strawberry
it makes
forward.
It confection, absolutely.
It's so strawberry forward with nothing else going. Oh, I shouldn't say nothing else going on, but because this is
This is
really
an
nice
occasion
stuff.
one. This is an occasion one. This is.
I would say, I mean, not that you could get that many 2001s for, but like at a wedding, this would be amazing.
Oh,
Fantastic. Memorable. A nice summer wedding. Oh.
And all your family and friends that don't drink wine would love this.
I feel like you could even chill this a bit. And
Oh,
it'd
we
be
could.
nice.
Hell yeah.
Right?
Just a bit.
Hell yeah.
You could. Absolutely. Okay.
That's delicious.
Not to skew the
That's
conversation
delicious.
and make the actual wine fans, not to aficionados upset, but you could also totally make a reduction with this.
Oh yeah.
And
Cook with
pour
that
it over
fucker.
some ice cream.
You could.
And
You,
you
oh,
would-
you really could.
Yeah.
But I feel like
Yeah.
if you just
You're-
made
you're-
strawberry sauce, it would be the same fucking thing.
You're
So you might as
you're
well
getting laid that
just-
night.
Don't use the 2001 bottle of wine to
Dude,
make your
definitely
Do
use
whatever
the
you want.
2001 to
Strawberry
make your strawberry sauce. Add a little bit of balsamic vinaigrette.
Okay,
Not
but
gonna
see,
lie.
then it's a glaze, and then you can put it on salmon and shit like that,
Nah,
and then it's gonna be
ice cream.
delicious. But
I will say this though: the earlier in the afternoon I have a Riesling, the more I enjoy it.
sure,
Yeah.
that's true for most
The more I enjoy it.
most alcoholic beverages. Let's be honest. All right, guys,
Beautiful.
We're gonna sign off for now.
Yeah.
It's
Thanks
time
again
for parts.
to
Yes,
say your name
Jenna.
and where you work.
Jenna, I work at the Blending Lab on 3rd Street. Come visit me most Saturdays.
And what do you guys specialize
Third
in?
Street in Los Angeles.
In
by the
LA.
way, By the way,
Yes.
there's a Third Street in pretty much every major city in the country. So,
And what do you guys specialize in?
We specialize in red blends, so we get our grapes mostly from Paso Robles, and we do a lot of really cool, interesting red
And they do
Really
blends.
blending
do.
classes, which you can come and do. So they use some
Absolutely.
single varietals, but mostly for the classes, so you can blend and find your perfect blend.
By the way,
For you.
everyone raves about the Smeg. I'm partial to the Smeg. You'll know what I'm talking about once you get here.
And all of you comic people, don't laugh at Smack.
Exactly. Even though we know you are.
We know you are. It's a Syrah Mourvedre
Yeah.
Grenache blend.
Exactly.
That's why it's the
Exactly.
Smeg.
It's
The
not
Meg-
a reference to the show you're thinking
no.
of.
But the Meg, which is a perfect 50-50
It's beautiful.
split of Mourvedre and
Beautiful.
Grenache, that is my all-time favorite.
I
beer.
can get through a bottle in like 5
Oh,
hours.
so
It's a
good.
problem.
So.
Anyway, thanks guys.
Ciao, ciao.
Thank
We will
you.
see you next time.
time.
All right.
Cheers.
Ciao.
Bam.
We will get the hell out of your hair now.
Yes.
Thanks for letting me.
Of course.
Sure.
We will do plenty more.
Please.
It's usually just Dave and I getting drunk in a room, you
Yes,
know,
I wanna-
fiddling with the cameras. This is the first time I brought the professional camera out, actually.
I will do this as many times as you guys.
Beautiful.
let me. This was so fun. You guys
Oh,
are great.
Chris, what'd you think of the
Great
wine?
dynamic.
He's not listening.
Oh, he's waiting for us.
You guys are super fun together. Yeah, it's great.
I thought I was going to do this, so we used to be.
So, no, wait,
Okay.
before you even get there. Oh, she's already heard the spiel. We were
Oh,
drunk
yeah,
and
yeah,
giving it
we
to
were
her
drunk
the other
and
day.
giving it to her, yeah.
So we had separate ideas. I was doing like a movie and wine pairing thing that I
Right,
started.
right.
And he was doing wine and comics, and then we linked back up a few months ago, and it was like, are you?
Into wine? Are you
All right.
into wine? Really?
Yeah, like, all right,
And
we're
I
doing
didn't-
this.
And that was my problem. All my friends, all my social, no one was into wine.
Yeah,
So I was like, well, I'm doing this by myself.